Who the fuck did this to you? Raymond's voice wasn't loud, it was lethal. The kind of quiet that comes right before violence. Caitlin's lip trembled, her bruises catching the light like evidence he didn't need. When she finally whispered the name, his eyes went dark, and by morning, that name wasn't on anyone's lips again. If you're hooked in and want to enjoy this story, go ahead and subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from. It's always amazing to see where everyone's watching. Plus, tomorrow I've got another incredible story lined up, and you definitely don't want to miss it. Alright, back to the story. Just 5 minutes. Caitlin whispers to the empty hallway, pressing her palm against the cold storage room wall. Her black and white uniform, the one with the crisp collar, she irons every morning before her shift, is wrinkled and stained, not with spilled drinks, with her own blood. She can't go back to the bar like this. Can't let anyone in the Monarch Club see her like this. The city's most powerful men don't tip waitresses who look broken. They don't see them at all. Caitlin Johnson has worked too hard to become invisible again. 2 years serving crystal glasses to criminals in tailored suits. 2 years of double shifts and forced smiles. And she's finally close to paying off her mother's medical debt. Close to not choosing between groceries and electricity. Close to proving she's more than the girl from the South Side who learned to keep her head down. She dabs at her lip with her sleeve, but the bleeding won't stop. Her hands are shaking. She presses them against the wall, trying to steady herself, trying to remember how to breathe without her ribs screaming in protest. The storage hallway is dim, lit only by a single flickering bulb that casts shadows across stacked liquor boxes and cleaning supplies. Beyond the door, she can hear the muffled sounds of the club crystal clinking, low conversations, the kind of laughter that comes with power and expensive whiskey. She needs to fix this. Fix herself. She reaches for the metal door of the storage freezer, using its reflective surface as a makeshift mirror. The woman staring back at her looks destroyed, mascara streaked down her cheeks, hair falling out of its neat bun, a split lip that keeps bleeding no matter how many times she wipes it. Just 1 minute, she whispers again, like a prayer. Just 1 minute. But she doesn't get 1 minute. Footsteps echo in the hallway. Not the hurried click of another waitress, not the shuffle of kitchen staff. These are different, measured, deliberate. The kind of footsteps that own the ground they walk on. Caitlin's breath catches. She straightens too quickly. Pain explodes through her ribs, white hot and blinding. She bites down on her lip to keep from crying out, tasting copper. She turns, an apology already forming on her lips, but the words die in her throat. Raymond Hughes stands in the doorway. Not just another patron, not just another member. The one whose private booth remains empty until he arrives. The one whose name appears in whispered conversations that stop the moment staff walk by. The one who owns things, clubs, politicians, silence itself. 6'2" of polished, quiet violence. His dark hair is slicked back perfectly, not a strand out of place despite the late hour. His eyes are the color of black coffee, unreadable and deep, the kind of eyes that miss nothing. Tattoos trace up his throat and disappear beneath the collar of his crisp white shirt like secrets he doesn't bother to hide anymore. He's wearing a 3-piece charcoal suit that probably costs more than she makes in 6 months. His tie is straight, his cufflinks platinum. Simple, expensive. Catch the dim hallway light. He's 36 years old, though the sharp angles of his jaw and the weight behind his eyes make him seem ancient, like he's lived several lifetimes in those years. Caitlin has worked exactly 74 shifts since Raymond became a regular at the Monarch Club. She's refilled his whiskey perhaps 3 dozen times, always silently, always carefully, always making sure never to meet his eyes. He's never looked at her directly, not once in 4 months of service. He's looking at her now. His expression doesn't change. That's what terrifies her. His face remains absolutely still, composed, calm. But his eyes travel from her torn collar to her swollen cheek, to her bleeding lip, to the way she's holding her left side like her ribs might shatter completely if she lets go. "Mr. Hughes, she starts, her voice thin and broken. "Who?" His voice is quiet, conversational even. But something in that single word makes Caitlin's spine straighten despite the pain radiating through her entire body. "It's nothing," she says quickly, desperately. I fell in the storage room. I'm clumsy tonight. I just needed a moment to clean up before." Caitlin. Her name sounds different in his mouth. Lower, dangerous. Like a promise wrapped in a threat, wrapped in something she doesn't have a name for yet. He takes 1 step into the hallway. The door to the main bar closes behind him with a soft click that seems to echo forever in the small space. His hands, those elegant, tattooed, dangerous hands, hang loose at his sides, but she can see the tension coiling through his shoulders like a predator preparing to strike. His breathing has gone deliberately slow, measured, like he's counting each inhale to maintain control. I'm going to ask you one more time. The fluorescent bulb flickers above them. The moment stretches. Caitlin can hear her own heartbeat pounding in her ears. His voice drops lower, quieter, more lethal than any shout could ever be. Who the fuck did this to you? Caitlin's breath comes in short, painful gasps. She can feel the wall cold against her back, can feel the weight of Raymond's gaze like a physical thing pressing against her skin. I told you, she whispers, her voice cracking. I slipped. It was an accident. Please, Mr. Hughes. I just need to get back to work before... Stop. One word. That's all it takes to cut through her desperate lie. He doesn't move closer yet, but somehow the space between them feels smaller. His eyes, those dark, unreadable eyes, remain fixed on her face with an intensity that makes her feel exposed in a way that has nothing to do with her torn uniform. That bruise on your cheekbone, he says quietly, clinically, like he's reading from a report. That's from a closed fist, right-handed. The person who hit you was taller than you, judging by the angle. The split lip is from a ring, probably silver, based on the cut pattern. Caitlin's eyes widen. How does he... Someone grabbed your throat. His gaze drops to her collar, which she'd thought was covering the marks. You can see the fingerprints if you know what to look for. And the way you're breathing, shallow, careful, like every inhale hurts, tells me you have at least 2 cracked ribs, maybe 3. Her hands start shaking again. She presses them against the wall behind her, trying to anchor herself, trying to understand how this man can read violence on her body like it's written in a language only he speaks. How do you... She starts. I know what violence looks like. He takes one step closer, then another. Slow, deliberate, giving her time to run if she wants to. She doesn't run. His hand rises gradually, telegraphing every movement, and gently tilts her chin up with 2 fingers. His touch is impossibly gentle, at complete odds with everything she knows about who he is and what he does. In the flickering hallway light, his eyes scan every inch of her face, every bruise, every cut, every story her body is telling without permission. I know what it looks like when someone tries to hurt something that doesn't belong to them, he continues, his voice dropping even lower. I know the difference between an accident and an attack, between falling and being pushed, between slipping and being held down. Caitlin feels something crack inside her chest, a wall she's been holding up for so long she forgot it was there. Tears burn behind her eyes, but she refuses to let them fall. Not here. Not now. Not in front of him. Mr. Hughes, please, she whispers. I can't afford to lose this job. My mother, she's sick. The treatment bills are due next week, and if I'm not here, if they think I'm trouble, you're not going to lose your job. The certainty in his voice should be comforting. Instead, it terrifies her. Because that kind of certainty comes with a price. Caitlin. Her name again. Softer this time. Almost tender. I need you to understand something. I'm not asking as your employer. I'm not asking as a member of this club. His thumb brushes her jawline so carefully she barely feels it. But she feels the promise behind it. The rage. The violence waiting just beneath his composed surface. I'm asking as someone who's going to make sure this never happens again. As someone who's going to make this right. The gentleness in his touch contrasts so sharply with the lethal promise in his voice that Caitlin feels her last defense crumble. Who did this to you? The question hangs in the air between them. In the distance, she can hear the muffled sounds of the club continuing without them. Crystal glasses, low laughter, the world moving forward while hers has stopped completely in this dim hallway. She shouldn't tell him. She knows she shouldn't. Travis has connections. Travis has friends who come to this club. Travis has made it very clear what will happen if she ever tells anyone what happens when he drinks too much, when he gets jealous, when he decides she's been looking at other men or talking too much or breathing wrong. But Raymond's fingers are still gentle on her jaw, and his eyes are still watching her with an intensity that makes her feel seen, really, truly seen for the first time in longer than she can remember. I can't, she whispers one more time. If I tell you, he'll what? Something in Raymond's voice has changed, gone colder, sharper, like winter wind cutting through skin. He won't do anything, Raymond continues quietly. Because after you tell me his name, He won't have the opportunity. It's not a threat. It's not even a promise. It's a statement of fact. Simple. Inevitable. Like gravity. Caitlin takes a shuddering breath. Her ribs scream in protest. A tear finally escapes, rolling down her cheek and mixing with the blood at the corner of her mouth. "Travis," she whispers, so quiet she almost doesn't hear herself. "Travis Hale." Raymond's expression doesn't change. Not a flicker, not a flinch, but something happens behind his eyes. Something dark and certain and utterly merciless. His hand drops from her face. He steps back slightly, giving her space to breathe. "Go home, Caitlin. You're done for the night. But I can't just. Someone will drive you." It's not a suggestion. He removes his suit jacket with smooth, practiced movements and drapes it over her shoulders. It's warm from his body heat and smells like expensive cologne and whiskey and something else, something that makes her feel safe in a way she hasn't felt in years. "Mr. Hughes, I'll take care of it." Caitlin sits in the back of a black Mercedes that costs more than her entire apartment building. The driver hasn't spoken a single word since Raymond's brief instruction. Take her home. Make sure she gets inside safely. She clutches Raymond's jacket around her shoulders like armor. It swallows her small frame, the sleeves hanging past her fingertips. She should give it back. She should have insisted on staying to finish her shift. She should have kept her mouth shut. She told him Travis's name. The thought sends ice through her veins despite the jacket's warmth. Her apartment is dark when the driver pulls up to the curb. He walks her to the door, silent, professional, terrifying in his efficiency. He waits until she's inside with the door locked before returning to the car. She watches through the window as the Mercedes disappears into the night. The silence of her apartment is suffocating. Caitlin moves through the motions mechanically, removes the blood-stained uniform, steps into the shower, watches pink water circle the drain. Her hands won't stop shaking. She told him Travis's name. What has she done? Travis isn't just violent, he's connected. His cousin runs drugs through half the South Side. His friends are the kind of men who make problems disappear, he told her once. His hand around her throat, his breath reeking of whiskey. Exactly what would happen if she ever told anyone about their private business. She wraps herself in an old robe and sits on the edge of her bed, still wearing Raymond's jacket over it. The clock on her nightstand reads 2:47 a.m. Sleep doesn't come. She lies in the dark, staring at the ceiling, replaying the moment over and over. The way Raymond's eyes had gone cold when she whispered Travis's name. The way his voice had dropped when he said, "I'll take care of it." What does that mean? What is he going to do? The questions chase each other through her mind until the sky outside her window begins to lighten. Gray dawn, then pale morning. She must have dozed at some point because she jolts awake to her phone buzzing on the nightstand. 7:23 a.m. Her mother calling. Caitlin lets it go to voicemail. She can't explain why she sounds like she's been crying. Can't explain the bruises her mother will hear in her voice. She pulls herself out of bed, every muscle protesting. Her ribs are worse this morning, the pain sharp and constant. She makes coffee with shaking hands and turns on the small TV in her kitchen, more for the noise than anything else. The local news is playing. Traffic report, weather, a segment about the city council's budget meeting. Then, breaking news this morning as police investigate the disappearance of 8 men reported missing overnight. Authorities say the men, all believed to be connected to local criminal enterprises, were last seen at various locations throughout the city, between midnight and 3 a.m. Caitlin's coffee mug freezes halfway to her lips. The news anchor continues, her expression professionally concerned. Among those missing is Travis Hale, 32, along with 3 associates identified as Derek Marco, Mike Volkov, and James Torres. 4 additional men, all believed to have connections to Hale, are also unaccounted for. Police are asking anyone with information to. The mug slips from Caitlin's fingers. It shatters on the kitchen tile, coffee spreading across the floor like the blood that stained her uniform last night. 8 men, Travis, and 7 others, all gone, all in one night. Her phone buzzes again. Unknown number. Her hand trembles as she answers. "Hello? You don't need to worry anymore." Raymond's voice, calm, steady, like he's commenting on the weather. Caitlin's knees buckle. She slides down the kitchen cabinet to the floor, shards of broken mug scattered around her, coffee seeping into her robe. "What did you do?" she whispers. "What I said I would do. I took care of it." On the TV behind her, the news anchor is showing photos now. Travis's face fills the screen, that same face that smiled at her once, before his hands learned to hurt. before his love turned to possession, turned to violence. The police, she starts, have no leads, no witnesses, no evidence. A pause, no bodies. The casual way he says it should horrify her, should send her running to the police herself, should make her sick with fear and guilt and the weight of what she's caused. Instead, she feels something she hasn't felt in 3 years. Relief. I don't understand, she whispers, even though she does. Even though understanding is exactly what's making her chest tight and her breathing shallow and her whole world tilt on its axis. You don't need to understand. You just need to know that Travis Hale will never touch you again. Neither will anyone who stood by and let it happen. Neither will anyone who might have thought about defending him. Caitlin closes her eyes. Behind her eyelids, she sees Travis's hands around her throat, sees his fist coming toward her face, sees herself small and scared and alone in a world that taught her that survival meant silence. She opens her eyes. "Thank you," she whispers. The words feel wrong and right and terrifying all at once. Raymond's voice softens almost imperceptibly. "Rest today. Someone will bring you something for the pain. Tomorrow, if you feel up to it, come back to work. Your position is waiting." "Raymond." "Yes?" She's never called him by his first name before. It feels intimate, dangerous, like crossing a line she can't uncross. "I'm not afraid," she says quietly. "I should be, but I'm not." Silence on the other end. Then, "Good. You shouldn't be." The line goes dead. 2 days later, Caitlin returns to the Monarch Club. She almost doesn't. She stands outside the staff entrance for 10 minutes, Raymond's jacket now cleaned and pressed folded carefully in her bag, trying to find the courage to walk through the door. Everything has changed. She has changed. The world has tilted, and she doesn't know how to walk straight in it anymore. 8 men are missing. The news is still running the story every hour. Police are interviewing associates, checking financial records, following leads that go nowhere. Travis's cousin gave a tearful interview yesterday, talking about how Travis was a good man who'd fallen in with the wrong crowd, how the family just wants answers. Caitlin watched it with something cold settling in her chest. Travis was never good, and now he's gone, because of her, because she whispered his name to the most dangerous man in the city. The staff entrance opens before she can decide whether to run. One of Raymond's men, tall, broad-shouldered, tattooed neck, holds the door. "Miss Johnson, Mr. Hughes is expecting you." Her breath catches. "I'm not scheduled to meet. Upstairs, private office. It's not a request." She follows him through the service corridors, past the kitchen where line cooks are prepping for the evening service, past the bar where crystal glasses are being polished to perfection. Other staff members glance at her as she passes. Some look curious, others look afraid. They know something has changed. The staircase to the second floor is one she's never climbed before. Staff don't go upstairs. Upstairs is for members only, for private meetings and closed-door negotiations and conversations that never make it into police reports. Raymond's office is at the end of a long hallway lined with dark wood paneling and expensive art. The door is slightly open. Her escort knocks once, then pushes it wider. "Miss Johnson, sir." "Thank you, Victor." Raymond sits behind a massive mahogany desk, reviewing something on his laptop. He's wearing a charcoal suit, no tie, his collar open. He looks up as she enters, and those dark eyes settle on her with the same intensity as 2 nights ago. Victor closes the door behind her, leaving them alone. The silence stretches. Caitlin doesn't know what to do with her hands, where to look, how to breathe normally in this space that smells like leather and whiskey and power. "Sit," Raymond says quietly, gesturing to one of the leather chairs across from his desk. She sits. Her ribs still ache when she moves too quickly, but the pain is manageable now. Someone did bring her something for it. Prescription painkillers delivered by another silent, efficient man in an expensive suit. No note. No explanation needed. Raymond closes his laptop and gives her his full attention. It feels like standing in front of a spotlight, exposing, unavoidable. "How are you feeling?" he asks. "Better, thank you. For the medicine. And for..." She stops. For what? For making 8 men disappear? For rewriting reality so she could sleep without fear for the first time in years? "You don't need to thank me. I brought your jacket back." She pulls it from her bag, still perfectly folded. "I had it cleaned. I hope that's okay." He doesn't take it. Just looks at it, then at her. "Keep it." "I can't." "Keep it, Caitlin." Her name and his voice still does something to her. Still makes her feel seen in a way that's both terrifying and addictive. She sets the jacket carefully on the edge of his desk, a compromise between his command and her discomfort with taking something so valuable. Raymond leans back in his chair, studying her with that unreadable expression. I need you to understand something. What happened 2 nights ago, that wasn't impulsive. That wasn't a favor. That wasn't me doing you a kindness you'll need to repay. Caitlin's hands tighten in her lap. Then what was it? Protection. He says it simply, like it's obvious. You work here. You're under my roof. That makes you mine to protect. The possessiveness in the word mine should bother her. Instead, it sends warmth through her chest. The news says what they always say when men like that disappear. They investigate. They find nothing. Eventually, they move on to the next story. His eyes never leave hers. You need to do the same. Just forget? No. He leans forward, elbows on his desk. Remember that you're safe now. Remember that you don't have to accept being hurt ever again. Remember that some men in this world will protect you, not harm you. Caitlin feels tears burning behind her eyes. She blinks them back. Why? Why what? Why me? You've seen me for months. You never looked at me once, never spoke to me, and then suddenly, she gestures helplessly. 8 men are gone because I whispered one name. Raymond is quiet for a long moment. When he speaks, his voice is softer, more honest than she's ever heard it. I noticed you the first day you worked here, 4 months ago. You were serving the back section, and some drunk councilman grabbed your wrist when you tried to refill his drink. You didn't flinch, didn't make a scene, just smiled and extracted yourself like you'd done it 1,000 times before. Caitlin remembers that night, remembers going home with bruises on her wrist, remembers thinking that was just part of the job. I've watched you navigate this place with more grace than men who think they own it. Raymond continues. I've watched you smile through disrespect, work through exhaustion, hold yourself together when everything around you is falling apart. He stands, moving around the desk to lean against it, closer to her now but not crowding her space. So when I saw you broken in that hallway, I didn't see a stranger. I saw someone I should have protected months ago. His eyes hold hers, and she sees something in them that makes her breath catch. Something that's been there longer than 2 nights ago. Are you afraid of me now? He asks quietly. Caitlin should lie, should say yes, should run from this office and this man and this feeling growing in her chest that feels too big for her body. Instead, she tells the truth. No, I'm afraid of everyone else. The words hang in the air between them, heavy, true, irrevocable. I'm afraid of everyone else. Raymond doesn't move immediately, just watches her with those dark eyes that seem to see straight through every wall she's ever built. The afternoon light filtering through his office window catches the edge of his jaw, the tattoos climbing his throat, the controlled tension in his shoulders. You should be afraid of me too, he says quietly. You know what I am, what I do. I know. Caitlin's voice is steadier than she feels. I've known since the first week I worked here. Everyone knows. They just don't say it out loud. And yet you're sitting in my office, alone, after I made 8 men disappear because one of them hurt you. It's not a question, but she answers anyway. Yes. Why? She looks at him, really looks at him. Not the way a waitress looks at a dangerous patron. Not the way the city looks at the man whose name appears in police files that never go anywhere. But the way a woman looks at a man who saw her broken and decided to remake the world around her. Because you're the only person who's ever protected me, she whispers. Not just from Travis. From everyone. From a world that taught me I'm supposed to be small and quiet and grateful for not being hurt worse. Raymond pushes off the desk, takes 1 step toward her, then stops, like he's giving her time to move away. She doesn't move away. Caitlin. Her name is a warning, a question, a prayer. If I touch you right now, it won't be as your employer. It won't be as someone protecting staff in his club. Then what will it be? He moves closer, slowly, like she's something precious and dangerous all at once. It will be as a man who hasn't been able to stop thinking about you for 4 months, who notices when you're tired, when you're hurting, when you force yourself to smile at men who don't deserve to breathe the same air as you. Caitlin's breath catches. 4 months? 4 months. He's right in front of her now, standing while she sits, but somehow not looming over her. Just present, solid, real. I know your schedule better than my own. I know you work doubles on Thursdays to send money home. I know you drink tea, not coffee, during your break. I know you rub your left wrist when you're stressed because some asshole hurt it, and you think no one notices. She can't breathe, can't think, can't process that this man, this dangerous, powerful, untouchable man has been watching her with the kind of attention she thought existed only in stories. I noticed you the moment you walked through my door, Raymond continues, his voice dropping lower. And I've been noticing you every moment since. He reaches out, telegraphing the movement like he did in the hallway 2 nights ago, and cups her jaw with one hand. His palm is warm against her skin. His thumb brushes her cheekbone, careful of the bruise that's already fading to yellow-green. So if I kiss you right now, he says quietly, you need to understand what it means. It means you're not just staff. Not just someone I protect because you work here. It means you're mine, Caitlin. And I don't share. I don't let go. I don't do anything halfway. Her heart is hammering so hard she's sure he can feel it. What if I want that? Then say it. Say you want this. Because once we cross this line, there's no going back. For either of us. Caitlin looks up at him. At the man who made her world safer by making it more dangerous. At the hands that have ended lives now touching her like she's made of glass. At the eyes that have gone from cold observation to something burning and possessive and utterly focused on her. She thinks about Travis. About 3 years of flinching. About learning to make herself smaller. About nights spent hoping it wouldn't be too bad this time. She thinks about Raymond finding her in that hallway. About the gentle way he tilted her chin up. About the lethal promise in his voice when he asked who hurt her. She stands. The movement brings her closer to him. Close enough that she has to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. Close enough that she can smell his cologne and see the flecks of amber in his dark eyes. I want this, she whispers. I want you. Something in Raymond's expression cracks. Not his control that remains iron solid, but something deeper. Something that's been held back for 4 months of watching and waiting and wanting. He leans down slowly, giving her every opportunity to change her mind, to pull away, to run. She doesn't run. When his lips touch hers, it's not gentle. It's not the soft, tentative kiss of a first touch. It's 4 months of restraint burning down all at once. It's possession and protection and promise all wrapped into one devastating moment. His hand slides from her jaw to the back of her neck, fingers tangling in her hair. His other hand settles at her waist, pulling her closer but still careful of her healing ribs. She gasps against his mouth, and he takes the opportunity to deepen the kiss, claiming her with an intensity that makes her knees weak. Caitlin's hands find his chest, feeling the solid muscle beneath his expensive shirt, feeling his heart beating as hard as hers. She's kissed before, of course she has. But this isn't kissing. This is being consumed. This is being seen and claimed and wanted with a ferocity that should terrify her. It doesn't terrify her. It makes her feel powerful. When they finally break apart, both breathing hard, Raymond rests his forehead against hers. His thumb traces slow circles on the nape of her neck. Mine, he whispers against her lips. Yours, she whispers back. And something inside her that's been breaking for years finally stops. The Monarch Club hums with its usual velvet menace 3 nights after the kiss that rewrote Caitlin's gravity. Crystal chandeliers drip gold light across mahogany tables. Cigar smoke coils like secrets above the heads of men who buy and sell lives between sips of 30-year Macallan. Waitresses glide in silent formation, trays balanced on fingertips that have learned never to tremble. But tonight the rhythm is off, conversations fracture mid-sentence. Eyes flick toward the service corridor, toward the woman in the black and white uniform who used to be invisible. Caitlin feels the stares like pinpricks. She carries a bottle of 1,946 Cheval Blanc to table 7, the cork still whispering promises of a $40,000 pour. The councilman who once pinched her waist now averts his gaze. The arms dealer who slipped his card into her apron pocket pretends fascination with his phone. She sets the bottle down, uncorks it with the same steady hands that shook in the storage hallway 5 nights ago. The councilman mutters, "Thank you," without looking up. The arms dealer doesn't speak at all. In the kitchen, Maria, veteran waitress, Southside survivor, keeper of every rumor, catches Caitlin's sleeve. "Misha, they're saying Hughes marked you. Like property." Maria's whisper trembles with awe and fear. "Property gets protected. Property also gets watched. You understand?" Caitlin nods once. She understands better than anyone. Property doesn't flinch when a hand settles at the small of her back. Property doesn't question why the walk-in freezer now has a biometric lock. Property sleeps without dreaming of fists. But property also becomes a message. Across the city, In a warehouse reeking of diesel and desperation, Travis's cousin Rico Hale paces beneath a single swinging bulb. His knuckles are split from punching a wall that refused to give him answers. 8 men gone. 8. Travis was loud, stupid, cruel, but he was blood. Rico's blood now demands payment in the only currency the streets respect. She knows something, Rico snarls to the 3 shadows leaning against crates of stolen pharmaceuticals. That waitress bitch. Hughes wouldn't vanish 8 guys for a random piece of ass. One shadow thin, twitchy, track marks climbing his forearm shifts nervously. Word is, Hughes sat in his booth all night. Didn't leave once. Cameras caught nothing. Then the cameras are lying. Rico snaps. Or someone's paying the techs to forget what they saw. He pulls a grainy photo from his jacket. Caitlin leaving the club 2 nights ago. Raymond's suit jacket dwarfing her frame. His driver holding the Mercedes door. Find her schedule. Find her apartment. Find where she buys her damn coffee. I want her scared enough to talk. The twitchy shadow hesitates. Boss, going after Hughes's girl. She ain't his girl, Rico cuts in, voice venomous. She's a Southside rat who got lucky. And luck runs out. Back at the club, closing time creeps past 3 a.m. Caitlin counts tips in the staff room, 3,000 in hundreds, more than she's ever cleared in a week. The money feels tainted, like blood money wearing Benjamin Franklin's face. She folds the bills into her mother's envelope anyway. The hospital doesn't care where salvation comes from. Victor Raymond's enforcer, neck tattooed with a serpent devouring its tail, appears in the doorway. Boss wants you upstairs. Her stomach flips. Not fear, anticipation. She follows Victor through corridors that smell of lemon polish and gun oil. The private elevator hums them to the 2nd floor, doors sliding open to reveal Raymond waiting in the hallway, sleeves rolled to the elbow, tattoos stark against pale skin. He doesn't speak until Victor retreats. You're being watched, he says quietly. No greeting, no softness, just fact. I know. Caitlin's voice doesn't waver. Maria told me. The councilman wouldn't meet my eyes. Even the bartender poured my water without being asked. Raymond's jaw tightens. Rico Hale is asking questions. He's desperate. Desperate men do stupid things. She steps closer, close enough to see the faint scar slicing through his left eyebrow. What happens when he does something stupid? Then he joins his cousin. The words are flat, final. But his hand rises, knuckles brushing the fading bruise on her cheekbone with impossible tenderness. I won't let him near you. You can't be everywhere. The protest leaves her lips before she can stop it. His eyes darken. I don't need to be. The city knows what happens when my name is spoken in the same breath as yours. He pauses, thumb tracing her lower lip. But I need you to promise me something. Anything. If anyone approaches you, anyone outside these walls, you call me. Not the police, not your friends. Me, instantly. She nods, throat tight. I promise. He leans in, forehead resting against hers. The hallway smells of his cologne, and the faint metallic edge of violence that never quite leaves him. I'm rewriting the rules for you, Caitlin. That makes enemies. I need you safe while I handle them. Downstairs, the last glass is polished. The last lock clicked. Upstairs, in the quiet before dawn, Caitlin feels the weight of being chosen. Not just protected, chosen. The difference is a chasm wide enough to swallow cities. Rico Hale stares at the warehouse photo under the swinging bulb, rage and grief twisting into something lethal. He doesn't know the rules have already changed. Doesn't know the woman he's hunting now carries the most dangerous name in the city like armor. Caitlin closes her eyes in Raymond's hallway, breathing him in. The bruises are fading. The fear is not gone, it has simply shifted target. Let Rico come, she thinks. Let the city whisper. She is no longer the girl who hid in storage rooms. She is the woman who made a mafia boss burn the world down with one whispered name, and the city is only beginning to understand what that means. Before the next storm hits, please subscribe. Caitlin's learning she's worth protecting, but stories like hers only survive if someone chooses to keep them alive. The Monarch Club pulses like a living thing on Friday night, velvet curtains swallowing sound. Chandeliers bleeding gold across faces that trade in secrets and blood money. Caitlin moves through the chaos with new armor. Raymond's gaze tracking her from the shadowed booth he hasn't left in 3 hours. The weight of his name stitched into every glance that slides off her like water. She feels the shift in gravity. Men who once leered now look through her, as if acknowledging her existence might cost them teeth. She's midway through table 12, 3 Russian oligarchs arguing over a yacht's price in hushed, vodka-slurred tones. When the front doors slam open hard enough to rattle crystal, conversation fractures, heads turn. Even the jazz trio falters mid-note. Rico Hale storms in, boots tracking Southside grime across Italian marble. His leather jacket hangs open over a stained wife-beater. His eyes are red-rimmed, pupils blown wide with grief, and whatever chemical keeps despair at bay. 2 of his crew flank him, thick-necked, twitchy, hands hovering near waistbands. Security tenses but doesn't move. Everyone knows whose roof this is. "Caitlin Johnson!" Rico's voice cracks like a gunshot. Heads swivel, phones lower. The air thickens with anticipation and fear. Caitlin freezes, tray balanced on splayed fingers. A champagne flute trembles, bubbles racing upward like tiny screams. She feels Raymond before she sees him heat at her back, the subtle shift of molecules when a predator enters the room. Rico barrels forward, shoving past a senator mid-sentence. "Where the fuck is my cousin, you lying bitch?" The oligarchs go statue still. One reaches for his napkin like it might shield him. Caitlin's pulse hammers in her ears, but her feet root to the floor. She's done shrinking. "I asked you a question." Rico is 10 feet away now, close enough for her to smell the whiskey and rage rolling off him. Travis vanishes, 7 other guys with him, and suddenly you're Hughes's pet? You think I'm stupid? Security finally moves 2 suits and earpieces, stepping forward, but Raymond's low voice slices through the tension like a blade. "Stand down." They freeze. Raymond steps around Caitlin, slow, deliberate. His hand settles at the small of her back, warm, steady, a silent vow. Not possessive, protective. The difference is a canyon. Rico's gaze flicks to the hand, then to Raymond's face. Something falters in his bravado, but grief is louder than fear. "This is between me and her, Hughes. Family business." "There is no between you and her," Raymond says, voice conversational, almost bored. "There's only between you and me." The room holds its breath. Caitlin feels every eye like needles. She should be terrified. Instead, a strange calm settles in her bones, the same calm she felt when Raymond's lips claimed hers, when the world narrowed to breath and heartbeat, and the promise that no one would hurt her again. Rico takes another step. "Travis was blood. You don't get to erase blood." "I didn't erase anything," Raymond replies. "I removed a disease. 8 tumors, actually. The city's healthier for it." A muscle ticks in Rico's jaw. His crew shifts, uncertain. One glances at the exit like it might vanish. Caitlin finds her voice. It doesn't shake. "Travis put me in the hospital 3 times, Rico. He broke my ribs. He choked me until I saw stars. You want to talk blood? Mine was on his knuckles more nights than I can count." Rico's face twists grief, rage, maybe a flicker of shame he'll never admit. "He loved you. He loved owning me." The words leave her mouth like bullets. There's a difference. Silence stretches, taut as piano wire. Somewhere, ice shifts in a glass. Raymond's thumb traces a slow circle against her spine, grounding, anchoring. "You have 10 seconds to leave my club," he tells Rico. "After that, you join your cousin." Rico's hand twitches toward his waistband. Caitlin sees it, the glint of metal, the desperate math of a man who's already lost everything. Time slows. Raymond doesn't flinch, doesn't reach for a weapon, just shifts his body half an inch, placing himself fully between her and the threat. The gesture is so subtle, most miss it. Caitlin doesn't. Her chest aches with something fierce and bright. 9. Raymond counts, voice soft. Rico's fingers freeze on the grip. 8. The twitchy crew member takes a step back, then another. Self-preservation finally louder than loyalty. 7. Rico's eyes dart left, right, searching for an ally who isn't there. The oligarchs study their cuffs. The senator sips his drink like it's tea. The jazz trio remains frozen mid-chord. 6. Caitlin steps forward, not away from Raymond, but beside him. Her hand finds his, fingers threading through his tattooed ones. A united front. A declaration. Rico says it. Something breaks in his expression, rage collapsing into defeat. 5. He spits on the floor. "This ain't over. It was over the moment you walked in," Raymond says. 4. Rico backs up, boots scuffing marble. His crew follows, melting toward the doors like smoke. The room exhales as one. 3. The doors slam shut behind them. The jazz trio resumes, tentative at first, then stronger. Conversation trickles back, nervous laughter, clinking glasses. the desperate need to pretend normalcy. Caitlin's legs buckle. Raymond catches her before she falls, arm banding around her waist. "Breathe," he murmurs against her temple. "It's done." She does. In. Out. The scent of his cologne and the faint metallic edge of adrenaline grounding her. "He'll come back," she whispers. "No," Raymond says simply. "He won't." She believes him. Later, in the quiet of his office, he pours her tea chamomile, no sugar, exactly how she likes it during breaks. She wraps both hands around the cup, watching steam curl between them. "You didn't have to count down," she says. "You could have just—" "I wanted him to feel every second of powerlessness he gave you." Raymond's voice is rough, stripped of performance. "I wanted him to understand what it's like to be small." Caitlin sets the cup down, crosses the room, cups his face in trembling hands. "I'm not small anymore." His eyes search hers, dark, ancient, aching. "No," he agrees. "You're not." She kisses him then. Not the desperate clash of their first kiss, but something slower, deeper. A promise forged in public, tempered in fire. Downstairs, the club hums on, oblivious. Upstairs, two lives realign irrevocably. And somewhere across the city, Rico Hale stares at his empty hands and understands, too late, that some lines can't be uncrossed. The city sleeps under a bruised dawn, but Caitlin hasn't closed her eyes. She sits on the leather couch in Raymond's private office, knees drawn to her chest, the chamomile long gone cold. The confrontation with Rico replays in fragments, the spit on marble, the countdown, the way Raymond's hand never left her spine. Her pulse still thrums with leftover adrenaline, but beneath it runs something heavier realization, sharp as broken glass. Raymond stands at the window, back to her, city lights flickering across the angles of his face. He hasn't spoken since the kiss. The silence between them is no longer empty. It's loaded, waiting for one of them to pull the pin. She breaks first. "I need the truth." He turns slowly. "You've had pieces. I want the whole picture." Her voice doesn't waver. No more shadows. Raymond crosses the room, sits on the coffee table opposite her, close enough to touch, far enough to give her space. His sleeves are still rolled. The serpent tattoo on his forearm seems to watch her with flat, inked eyes. "Ask. Start with the 8 men. Travis was the catalyst. The others were insurance." His tone is clinical, but his gaze is raw. "Derek supplied the drugs Travis used to keep you docile. Mike drove the van when Travis moved you between apartments so no one would notice the bruises. James held the camera the night Travis filmed you crying, begging him to stop just to watch later when he was bored. The 4 associates? They knew. They laughed. They placed bets on how long you'd last before you broke completely." Caitlin's stomach lurches. She remembers the flashes, the shame, the way she'd learned to dissociate until the pain stopped registering. "You watched the footage? I burned it." His jaw flexes. "Then I burned them." She swallows bile. "How many others? Before me? Too many." The admission is quiet, stripped of pride. "I built an empire on fear. Fear keeps order. Fear keeps my people alive. Fear kept me alive." He leans forward, elbows on knees. "But fear doesn't keep you alive. It just teaches you how to survive." Caitlin studies the man in front of her Mafia boss, executioner, the architect of vanishings, and sees the boy who learned early that mercy was a luxury that got people killed. What happens when someone bigger comes? Someone you can't vanish? "Then I die." Simple, inevitable, but not before I take them with me, and not before I make sure you're untouchable. The weight of that promise settles between them like concrete. She shifts, unfolding her legs, planting bare feet on cool hardwood. "I'm not a princess in a tower, Raymond. I won't be the reason you're not the reason." He cuts her off, voice rough. "You're the excuse I needed to stop pretending I'm still the man who watched you flinch for 4 months and did nothing." Her breath catches. "You could have intervened the first night. The councilman. The wrist." "I could have." His eyes darken with self-loathing. "I told myself you were temporary. Staff. Collateral. That if I touched you, I'd ruin you." A bitter laugh. "Turns out doing nothing ruined you worse." Caitlin reaches out, fingers brushing the scar on his knuckle, the one shaped like a crescent moon. "I'm already ruined. You just gave me permission to stop hiding the cracks." He turns his hand, capturing hers. "I'm offering you an out. Right now. Clean break. New city. New name. Enough money to pay your mother's bills for life. You walk away. No one follows. Not even me. The offer hangs in the air, luminous and terrifying. Freedom without fear. A life where her heartbeat doesn't hitch at every shadow. She imagines its sunlight on a different coast. Her mother's laughter without the rasp of oxygen. Nights without nightmares of fists. She imagines waking up without Raymond's hand on her spine, grounding her through panic attacks. Without his quiet tea during breaks. Without the way he says her name like a prayer and a threat. The vision fractures. I don't want the out, she says. The words taste like steel. I want the truth every day. I want the danger. I want the man who burned 8 lives to ash because one of them dared to break me. Her grip tightens. I want you, all of you. The parts that scare the city and the parts that scare you. Raymond's composure cracks just for a second. His forehead drops to their joined hands, breath shuddering against her skin. You don't know what you're asking. I know exactly. She cups his jaw, forcing him to meet her eyes. I'm choosing the monster who protects me over the saints who watched me bleed. I'm choosing the man who sees every fracture and calls me whole anyway. He rises slowly, pulling her with him. The office shrinks to the space between their bodies. Then understand this, he says, voice gravel and silk. There's no half measure. You're in my world now. My enemies become yours. My blood becomes yours. My life. His thumb traces her lower lip. Is yours to take if I ever hurt you. I won't need to, she whispers. You'd cut your own hands off first. A ghost of a smile. Yes. She rises on tiptoes, kissing him, not the desperate clash of before, not the gentle promise of after Rico. This is deliberate, a vow sealed in heat and breath, and the salt of unshed tears. When they break apart, her forehead rests against his. Teach me, she says, how to stand in your world without shrinking. His arms band around her, iron and refuge. First lesson, never apologize for taking up space. She laughs shaky, real, the sound of chains falling away. Second lesson, trust your instincts. They kept you alive before I did. Outside, the city wakes to another gray morning, oblivious to the shift in its underworld. Inside, Caitlin Johnson, waitress, survivor, Southside girl steps fully into the fire and finds it warm. She is no longer choosing between safety and love. She is choosing both, forged in the same flame. Weeks bleed into quiet rhythms. The Monarch Club still glitters with sin, but Caitlin no longer orbits its edges. She serves the front booths, now Raymond's silent decree, and the patrons treat her like stained glass. Beautiful, untouchable, fragile, only if you're foolish enough to test it. Tips triple, whispers quadruple. She banks every dollar for her mother's final treatment, the one the doctors said was impossible 6 months ago. Raymond's penthouse becomes her second skin. Not a cage, never that. The elevator requires her thumbprint. The kitchen learns she likes her tea steeped 4 minutes, not 3. He leaves the east wing empty, a silent offer of space she never takes. Instead, she pads barefoot across heated marble at 3 a.m., finding him on the balcony, city lights flickering across the sharp architecture of his sleeplessness. Tonight, rain lashes the floor-to-ceiling windows. Caitlin watches droplets race, tracing paths like the ones healing on her ribs, yellow-green fading to skin. Raymond stands behind her, arms loose around her waist, chin on her crown. They don't speak. Words feel small against the way his heartbeat syncs with hers. Steady as a metronome, she turns in the circle of his arms. I got the call today. He stills. Your mother? Cancer-free. The words crack open, something bright and aching in her chest. The specialist said the new trial worked. She laughed on the phone. Raymond laughed. Like the old her. His exhale is shaky. He presses his lips to her temple, lingering. Good. Caitlin pulls back, searching his face. You paid for the trial. I donated to the hospital. A shrug, but his eyes betray him soft, unguarded. Anonymously. Nothing you do is anonymous. She cups his cheek, thumb brushing the crescent scar. Thank you. He leans into her touch like a man starved. Don't thank me for fixing what the world broke. The rain intensifies, drumming a war beat against glass. Caitlin steps closer, fingers sliding into his hair. Then let me thank you for this. She kisses him slow, deliberate, tasting coffee and the faint copper of a cut on his lip from a meeting he won't discuss. He groans, hands spanning her waist, lifting her onto the kitchen island. Marble chills her thighs. His palms chase it away. They've been careful until now. Her ribs. His restraint. But tonight, careful feels like another word for fear. She tugs his shirt free, buttons scattering like hail. His skin is a map of violence, bullet grazes, knife tracks, the serpent tattoo curling around his ribs like it's guarding his heart. She traces each mark with lips and tongue, claiming the stories he's never told. Caitlin. Her name is a plea. She answers by sliding his belt free, the leather whispering through loops. He lifts her, carrying her to the bedroom where city lights bleed through gauzy curtains. They undress each other with the reverence of people handling live wire, slow, then sudden, then inevitable. When he enters her, it's not conquest, it's communion. She arches, nails scoring his back, anchoring herself to the only solid thing in a world that keeps tilting. He moves like he's memorizing her every gasp, every tremor, every tear that slips free when pleasure edges into something deeper. Trust, devotion, the terrifying certainty that this is permanent. After, they lie tangled in sheets that smell of them both. Caitlin traces the tattoo on his throat, a raven mid-flight, wings spread wide. What does it mean? Reminder. His voice is rough from her name, that some things are worth burning for. She presses her lips to the ink. I'm not afraid of fire anymore. His arms tighten. Good, because you're the only thing that keeps mine banked. Days blur into nights of quiet domesticity stitched between violence. He teaches her to shoot in the sub-basement range, her hands steady now, recoil no longer a flinch. She teaches him to laugh at her terrible attempts at cooking carbonara. They grocery shop at 2 a.m., in hoodies and sunglasses, arguing over cereal brands like normal people. He still vanishes men who cross lines. She still sends half her tips to her mother. The worlds don't collide, they orbit, held in tension by the gravity of chosen family. One evening, she finds him in the study, staring at a photo on his desk. A younger Raymond, maybe 20, arms slung around a boy with Caitlin's eyes and Travis's cruel mouth. The resemblance is a punch. Your brother? She asks softly. Half. His voice is raw. Same father, different mothers. He taught me what happens when you love something weak. He turns the frame face down. I swore I'd never be that vulnerable again. Caitlin circles the desk, straddling his lap. You're not. You're the strongest man I know, and I'm not weak. He buries his face in her neck, breathing her in like oxygen. You're my exception. No, she whispers. I'm your rule now. Later in the dark, she wakes to find him watching her. Moonlight carves silver across his cheekbones. Marry me, he says. Not a question. A fact. Her heart stutters. You don't ask? I'm not good at asking. His thumb strokes her ring finger. But I'll spend every day proving I'm worthy of your yes. She kisses him soft, then fierce. Yes. 1,000 times yes. The ring appears the next morning. Black diamonds set in platinum, subtle enough for the club, lethal enough for his world. She wears it beneath her uniform sleeve, a secret pressed against her pulse. Healing isn't linear. Some nights, she wakes, gasping, Travis's hands phantom around her throat. Raymond holds her through the tremors, whispering her name until the dream dissolves. Some mornings, he returns with blood under his nails and guilt in his eyes. She washes his hands in the sink, kissing each knuckle clean. They become each other's center, his restraint tempered by her laughter, her courage forged in his protection. Intimacy deepens into something sacred. The way he brushes her hair while she studies hospital bills, the way she traces his tattoos while he sleeps, the way they move together like tide and moon. Caitlin Johnson, once small, once silent, now stands in the eye of the storm and calls it home. And Raymond Hughes, once untouchable, once alone, finally understands that some fires don't destroy, they illuminate. 6 months to the day since Caitlin whispered Travis's name in a dim hallway, the Monarch Club hosts its annual black tie gala. Invitations are rarer than absolution. Attendance is a declaration of allegiance. Crystal drips from every surface. Champagne flows like guilt, and the city's predators circle in Tom Ford and diamonds, smiling with teeth. Caitlin stands at the top of the grand staircase, no longer in black and white polyester. The gown is midnight silk, cut on the bias, pooling like liquid shadow at her feet. The black diamond ring glints beneath chandelier light, no longer hidden. Her hair is swept up, exposing the faint scar at her collarbone. Travis's last gift, now a badge. She is breath-stealing, untouchable. His. Raymond waits at the bottom, hand extended. His tuxedo is charcoal, severe, the raven tattoo peeking above his collar like a warning. When their fingers meet, The room stills. Cameras flash. Whispers hush. The king has chosen his queen, and the kingdom kneels. They descend together. Every step is choreographed chaos. Senators part. Oligarchs bow. A cartel princess kisses Caitlyn's cheek with trembling lips. No one meets her eyes without permission. No one offers a hand Raymond doesn't vet. She feels the weight of it: power, protection, the terrifying beauty of being seen. At the center table, her mother sits in borrowed pearls, eyes shining with tears and pride. The woman who once counted pennies for pills now sips Dom Perignon beside a governor. Caitlyn kneels, pressing her forehead to her mother's knee. "You came. I wouldn't miss my daughter becoming legend," her mother whispers, voice thick. "He flew me first class, baby. Said it was non-negotiable." Raymond's hand settles on Caitlyn's shoulder, warm, steady. "Family is sacred," he murmurs. The governor nods like a parishioner. The orchestra swells. Raymond leads her to the dance floor. The first waltz is theirs alone. The crowd forms a perfect circle, a living frame. He spins her slowly, her gown flaring like dark wings. His palm at her waist is both anchor and promise. "You destroyed them for me," she says against his ear, voice barely audible over violins. His grip tightens. "I would destroy the world for you." "I know." She pulls back, eyes fierce. "And I'd burn it down with you." The music crests. He dips her low, lips brushing the pulse at her throat. The room erupts in polite, terrified applause. Later, on the balcony overlooking the city, snow begins to fall, rare, impossible, a white hush over concrete and sin. Caitlyn leans against the railing, champagne forgotten. Raymond stands behind her, arms caging her in, chin on her crown. "Rico Hale turned up last week," he says quietly. "Floating in the river. Suicide, they're calling it." She doesn't flinch. He chose the wrong war. Raymond's laugh is soft, dark. "He wrote a note. Said he couldn't live knowing Travis died screaming your name." Caitlyn turns in his arms. Snowflakes melt on her lashes. "Let the city tell that story. Let them remember what happens when they touch what's mine." His eyes blaze. "Ours." She kisses him, then slow, deliberate, tasting snow and champagne, and the future. When they break apart, the gala is a distant hum. The world below glitters, oblivious to the shift in its axis. Inside, the final toast. The governor raises his glass. "To Raymond Hughes and his bride, may their reign be long and their enemies brief." Glasses clink. Caitlyn meets every gaze, unflinching. She is no longer the girl who hid in storage rooms, who apologized for breathing. She is the woman who stood beside a monster and made him human. The woman whose name now ends conversations and starts wars. As the orchestra strikes the last note, Raymond lifts her hand to his lips, kissing the ring. "Ready to go home, Mrs. Hughes?" Home. The word settles in her bones like truth. She smiles sharp, radiant, unafraid. "Take me home." They leave through a gauntlet of bowed heads and averted eyes. The snow falls thicker, erasing footprints, writing new legends in white. Behind them, the Monarch Club glows like a crown. Ahead, the city waits rewritten, recalibrated, theirs. And Caitlyn Hughes, once broken, now unbreakable, walks into the storm with her monster's hand in hers, knowing the world will bend before it ever touches her again. She is not afraid. She is the reason others are. Thanks for sticking with this story till the end. If you enjoyed it, you're going to love the next one. It's packed with unexpected turns and heartfelt moments. Click the image on your screen to keep the journey going, and make sure to hit subscribe for more amazing stories. Drop a comment and rate this story from 1 to 10. I can't wait to see what you think.
А все равно, как бы, сути дела не меняет, как бы зарплата плюс-минус везде там, больше, чуть меньше. Как бы, и, наверное, это все, вот эта общая ситуация, наверное, у многих привела, во-первых, сфера развлечений, да, всякие там кредиты и так далее, настолько загоняют каждого в задницу человека. И об этом на самом деле никто так-то не говорит. Какое количество сейчас, допустим, даже в те же сложные времена такие, когда после там, специальная военная операция, да, где люди вообще умирают, в принципе, за какую-то сумму денег. То есть какая мотивация, то есть у мужика идти типа на войну, воевать и как бы заработать денег? Потому что он вот в обычной жизни не понимает, типа, как реализовать себя. Ну, он понимает, что он может пойти работать на какую-то работу, где зарплаты его все равно не будет хватать. Как бы тут тоже двойственная сторона. Хорошо, когда она есть, плохо, когда ее нету. Да, вот это маленькая даже зарплаты. Но морально-то ты все равно подавлен. Ты понимаешь, да, я там пойду туда, но как бы смысла мне этого не принесет большого. Да, у меня там станет, если я вообще не работаю и буду работать за 50 тысяч, хорошо, что они у меня есть, я смогу там покушать себе купить, но это же дизмораль. Когда ты заходишь в интернет и видишь, как люди там в Дубае летают, покупают себе огромное количество автомобилей какие-то, ну много всего такого, что ты за эту зарплату себе никогда в жизни позволить не сможешь. И как человеку оставаться морально типа сильным? Что ему нужно делать? Ну, наверное, во-первых, это, наверное, все от семьи исходит, да? То есть, какая семья у тебя, как она построена. Если ты один живешь, это сложно, да, ты будешь сам себя, но у тебя, опять-таки, возможно, ну, родители, если есть, которые друзья поддержат тебя в какой-то момент, хотя бы просто отвлекут тебя от этих мыслей. А если у тебя, к примеру, там, семья, жена, к примеру, да, есть дети, то тут, наверное, поддержка только от них исходит какая-то. Вот. Чтобы не упиваться в своих мыслях о том, что какая нынче сложная жизнь. И, наверное, других-то вариантов, в принципе-то, и нету. Какие вот еще варианты, в принципе, изменить, поменять свою жизнь настолько, чтобы она была, ну, казалась тебе удачной, да, реализованным себя в жизни, в чем-то. В чем, вот как проявляется на самом деле у нас реализованность? Наверное, у 90% случаев это финансовое благополучие, финансовая независимость. Это, наверное, одно из таких ключевых моментов, когда человек, наверное, считает себя реализованным, да, в этой жизни. То есть, как добиться этого? То есть, с учетом того, что даже возьмем нашу страну, да, сколько миллионов людей здесь живет, как каждому добиться этого результата? Непонятно. И с каждым годом просто ситуация становится все хуже и хуже. Все дорожает, люди зарабатывают либо столько же. Ну, даже если они зарабатывают столько же, на самом деле этого все уже недостаточно. К чему это все приведет на самом деле? В оконцове, наверное, мир погрязнет в большую депрессию в какую-то. Какие-то войны, возможно, или еще что-то еще больше глобальных таких вещей, которые не приведут ни к чему хорошему на самом деле. Поддержка каждого человека именно для того, чтобы он держался, наверное, морально, заключается в том, что, ну, наверное, дом, в который ты приходишь, должен быть крепостью твоей, да, что это единственное должно быть место, где ты будешь чувствовать себя под защитой. Для этого было придумано, наверное, своя пещера изначально, потом свои какие-то чумы, палатки различные, да, потом все это превратилось, на данный момент это у нас дома, квартиры, в которые мы приходим и должны ощущать себя в безопасности, чтобы можно быть немного морально расслабленным с учетом того, что ты выходишь каждый день на работу, на улицу, и все равно давление вот это вот, оно все присутствует. Когда ты заходишь в магазин, видишь цены эти, да, и так далее, не можешь себе что-то там приобрести, позволить на ежедневной основе, это откладывает большой, наверное, отпечаток Не наверное, а точно. И поэтому, когда возвращаясь домой, ты чувствуешь, вот хотя бы есть типа уголок того места, куда ты можешь прийти. Уголок на самом деле человеку много тоже не надо. Можно хотеть большего, но на самом деле человеку одному много не надо. Да? Ему нужно спальное место, спокойное место, где можно подумать. Ну, это когда ты один, к примеру, да? Когда у тебя есть семья, к примеру, ты приходишь домой, опять-таки, тут хотя бы, да, поговорить о каких-то вещах. Просто об отрешенных вещах, наверное. И, возможно, при этих же условиях у тебя и появляется какая-то дополнительная мотивация для реализации себя. А когда у тебя нету ничего, вот это уже становится проблемой. И это у многих на самом деле. Что значит не иметь ничего? Тут, наверное, самое главное, дизмораль у человека еще возникает при том, что это уже, наверное, где-то в глубине души даже она возникает при даже хорошей финансовой подушке такой, которая у тебя есть, хороших финансовых деньгах, да, то есть, но нету вот внутреннего ощущения, к примеру, дружбы, семьи, любви и так далее. Это уже отдельно на самом деле разговор, потому что мы, вот, к примеру, можем взять, как сейчас вот Мелстрой, если кто-то смотрит, насколько тяжело обладать такими финансами и не иметь, по сути, ничего. Ни друзей, ничего не иметь. Так главное это получается для бедных главное деньги, для богатых главное какое-то внутреннее ощущение нужности, не из-за денег. Вот такое вот. И эта борьба какая-то такая и вот эти два слоя общества, богатые и бедные, они друг друга не понимают. На самом деле из-за этого, возможно. Потому что богатый человек, он уже не смотрит на деньги, он не считает эти деньги. Ему важно внутреннее вот это вот ощущение того, что он нужен без них даже. Это как Тони Старку сказали: а кто ты без костюма? На вот это, я филантроп, тудым-сюдым, он сказал, да? Так и человеку, у которого много денег, ты задашь вопрос: а кто ты без денег? Ну, что ты представляешь себе без денег? Вот и это, наверное, возможно, таких людей богатых, как вот, например, там Мелстрой, задав ему этот вопрос: а кто ты без денег? Он на него ответить-то и не сможет. Обратная сторона людей бедных, да, вот если мы посмотрим, человеку